Hello and welcome to Movies on the Side. This is Stephen Robles.
And this is Nate Baranowski.
And today we're reviewing the 2025 Apple TV Plus movie property, Eternity, starring Elizabeth Olsen, Miles Teller, Callum Turner, and others. I didn't know if it was a Spanish pronunciation like Cayum. Just kidding. That's a terrible joke. I don't know why.
I'm gonna let it breathe.
Thank you. Thanks. Hey, I saw a big movie. We're going to talk about Eternity, but I saw a big movie this past weekend. I drug my family almost 4 hours away from home to watch Project Hail Mary on the largest movie screen in Florida.
Ooh.
That's right. We went to the AutoNation IMAX, which is the only 70 millimeter IMAX theater in Florida in Fort Lauderdale. And we saw Project Hail Mary on Friday, and it was the best. That movie is amazing. It was so good. Everyone in the family enjoyed it, which is hard to do now that I have teenage.
The Venn diagram is
the Venn diagram
separating like tectonic plates, moving apart.
Very difficult to please everyone. But Project Hail Mary, I'm just going to give it 5 out of 5 Rockies right now.
Really?
If you ever see it, we need to talk about it. But it is a wonderful movie.
How much of the movie-going experience was shaded by, I don't know the term, if it's positive, by the 70 millimeter spectacle? Influenced.
That was fun. I think it was great either way.
You wouldn't need it.
You definitely do not need it. It's fun. There's a couple scenes that are like, I'm in space, and stuff's like happening or whatever, but not necessary. Not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 out of 5. You loved it.
5 out of 5. Loved it. But
is it a top 5 space movie for you?
Well, that's a good question. Do we include Star Wars in the space movie genre?
No, I don't
think so.
That much.
That's the difference between sci-fi and fantasy, if people don't know. You got sci-fi over here, which is science fiction. It's movies that are fiction but based in science. Then you have fantasy like Star Wars.
You are speaking so confidently.
What?
But I think that you fall on the side of the Dunning-Kruger scale of knowing about these categories, that I worry that those who truly do know intensely science fiction and fantasy are going to be like, actually.
No. I know the difference between science fiction and fantasy. The Martian, science fiction. That's science fiction. It's based on
Interstellar?
Science fiction. They literally had astrophysicists on the crew or whatever, making sure that stuff was as accurate as possible. Nobody's on set with George Lucas trying to make sure a lightsaber is accurate. You know what I'm saying? That's fantasy.
Well, you don't know that for sure.
I think I do.
Okay.
Anyway, you should see it if you can. Project Hail Mary was wonderful. Ryan Gosling, I didn't realize he's the best. He's the best.
Yes.
I want to watch now all the Ryan Gosling's movie. I already loved La La Land. He was great in that.
He has been, I don't know if it is just been delivered to me, like the Garçon has brought me Ryan Gosling materials through my algorithm, or if he has just been doing a ton of press junket stuff. But I have seen him in the lead up to Project Hail Mary everywhere. And on every show and on every podcast, he's doing it. He's out there, and
he's doing it.
I loved it.
It's great.
Everyone.
It's great. Have you ever seen Drive? I haven't seen Drive.
I have.
Was that good?
I have not seen Nice Guys. That is apparently a beloved Ryan Gosling performance.
Did you see that
I have
Man
seen
movie?
Crazy Stupid Love, which
sure.
I absolutely love. Crazily.
Sure. Gray Man on Netflix, the mindless action movie. Did you see
we
that
have
one?
seen it. I believe we have reviewed it.
Did we?
Yeah.
You keep saying things about movies that are like, oh yeah, we reviewed that. As if
we reviewed
it. Every movie ever, which is not true. There's a lot of movies we have not reviewed. Gray Man, I'm searching right now. We did not review Gray Man.
Okay, then maybe it appeared in a top 5 list somewhere. Maybe that's the...
I think it appeared... Oh, wait a minute. Ah, shoot. I spelled gray with an E first. Yeah, we did review it.
Oh.
We did. I think it was in the time...
Man, that feels good. It feels good to be right, doesn't it, Stephen?
I'm sure that feels... I was right about the science fiction fantasy thing. That's fine. I think it was during the time where we did like Red Notice, The Gray Man, all those Netflix originals that were just like Netflix is just dumping money into
squishing them out, yeah.
Original content. But anyway, speaking of dumping money into original content, Apple TV Plus dumping money into original content.
Yeah, it's doing its best, right?
But I think it's making some good stuff. And this movie, I had on my watch list. I wanted to see it. You said we should do Eternity because you then actually watched it. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it. So this movie, I watched it last week, and it sent me spiraling in a existential, philosophical, eternal way, so to speak.
That's right.
For those who have not seen this movie, I do recommend it. But the premise is when
I'm not sure if I do. I just want to say that you don't speak the recommendation for this entire podcast right now.
No, I don't.
I wouldn't put the stamp on, I recommend everyone see this.
You would not. You say you don't think everyone should see. Like it's not that kind of movie.
I don't particularly. Yeah, well, let's talk about it. We'll talk about it. Let's unpack it together.
If you have not seen this movie, I still want you to listen to this episode, and so I want to explain the premise.
Yes.
Which is that when one dies, they go to a holding place. You can think of it as purgatory, but it's much more pragmatic than that.
It's like an Amsterdam Schiphol train station airport combo microtel.
It is right.
It's a cruise ship.
It is a cruise ship, but you take a train there anyway. You have 7 days staying in a nice hotel in this post-afterlife holding area to choose your eternity, where you will literally spend forever. And there are many eternities to choose from, which we'll get into in a moment. If you don't choose within those 7 days, you then get moved down to like the cabin crew, and you get a room as though you were a waiter on a cruise ship, a 10-square-foot room that's not very nice. But you
have to pay your way to for your room and board.
You have to get a job. You have to get a job if you want to stay in this holding area, but then you can stay as long as you like and do whatever job forever, I guess. So anyway.
That premise,
in
and of itself, is delightful. Stack on top of it what you're going to tell us next about these main characters.
Yes.
This was listed as one of those, I forgot what the name of it was, but the scripts that everyone's vying for. We want to make this. We see this concept float around and we say, yes, we want that original concept.
Yes. So that's the premise. The main characters, Miles Teller, who plays Larry, dies at the beginning of this movie. It's not a spoiler. It happens in the first 5 minutes.
And we're going to spoil this movie all over the place.
We're going to be spoiling it because, honestly, the conversation we're about to have cannot be spoiled by what happens in this movie because there's so many questions. Anyway, he dies, goes to this holding place. He knows that his wife is struggling with cancer and will likely die soon as well. So he's there in the afterlife. He realizes he has to choose the eternity. But the problem is, if you choose your eternity, you can't switch, and you can't really talk to or meet someone in the holding area once you're in your eternity. So he stays around for a while. He sees if his wife passes, and then he decides to go into eternity and leave a note for his wife saying where he has gone.
Right.
Turns out his wife dies right as he's about to leave for his eternity, and Elizabeth Olsen, who just died, now shows up, and she meets Larry. Larry thinks they're going to go to their eternity, but Elizabeth Olsen...
World.
What's that?
Beach World.
Beach World,
specifically.
Maybe.
Because what you didn't say in this premise is that all of these eternities are labeled like lobbies of an open world video game.
That's right.
They are
like a
the
Super
most
Mario Brothers level.
Levels.
Just levels.
Yep. And you have to choose one of these wild eternities.
Well, yeah, trust me, we're going to get to that. So, Joan and Larry, they meet. Larry thinks they're going to go into eternity. The problem is, despite being married for 65 years, Elizabeth Olsen's character was married before, and her first husband died in a war, and they were only married for maybe less than a year. Well, it turns out, once Elizabeth Olsen shows up in this holding area, her first husband has waited 65 plus years for her so that they could go into eternity together.
Mm-hmm.
And he assumed they would go into eternity. So now we enter this, Q conflict, because now both husbands first and second, are vying for Joan's eternity.
Yep.
And wanting to go, and hilarity ensues. One other point before we get into philosophical questions.
Mm-hmm.
When you enter in this holding area, and then for all of eternity, you appear as though your happiest moment. So your age, whether you're old when you die or whatever, if you died at 80, whatever age you were happiest at, let's say 25, that's the age which you appear for all eternity in this premise. So these husbands fight over Joan's affection, trying to get to win her to their eternity. And yeah, so I love this premise. I think this is super interesting. It makes for incredible questions. You then realize, okay, this first husband waited around in his shipping container of a room, working as a bartender for 65 years, waiting for her. That's a lot of built-up hype for him and for her.
Yep.
And she's then confronted with it. And Larry, as we discovered in the opening of this movie, is kind of ornery.
Yeah,
he can
bit
complain.
of a curmudgeon.
He'd be a bit of a curmudgeon. And so the eternity people say you can try an eternity with each husband and then choose. First time ever they're going to do this in the eternity landscape. And so Larry goes to Beach World, and Luke, the first husband, goes to Mountain World, where she thought she would have wanted to go. And then she spends time with each. Now, first question outside of the movie.
Yep.
As Whitney and I were watching.
Yep.
You see these different worlds, and I will include a link to a Reddit thread that lists all the worlds possible. Some of them include capitalist world, which is just something, beach world, Buddhist world. There's some religions in here. Dragon Quest, extreme sports, library world. There's all kinds of different worlds here.
Yep.
Also some that seemingly sound good on the surface, like sunset world. Or sunrise world. To which once some of those worlds like crossed the screen, when he looked at me, she was like, "So you just have to choose one?" And I immediately was like, "Okay, huge issue with the premise. Number one, to choose one eternity based on just sunsets, and that's all you get,
is hellish."
Do you know the book The Chocolate Touch?
No.
You've never heard of this book, The Chocolate Touch?
No.
It's a book I read as a kid, also traumatizing.
Is this like the Hand of Midas? You turn everything into gold, but someone turns everything into chocolate?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. It's a curse. Correct. It's a monkey's paw.
It is a monkey's paw. It is a total curse to have to choose just sunsets, just sunrises, and that immediately sent me spiraling. I would have no idea what to do.
Right.
I would hang out in that holding place for a while.
Okay, so yes. Let's talk outside of this movie for a second.
Yes.
This concept of eternity posed in this movie is so bleak and so rough that I expected while watching this movie that there was going to be a twist, because I've seen, what's the one with Kristen Bell? The TV show?
Oh, The Good Place.
The Good Place. I've seen The Good Place.
Excellent show.
This feels like this is all a setup for, these all seem like nightmare scenarios. The fact that you would have to choose fast and that these places are so specific, and eternity is so very long.
It's forever.
And it doesn't seem that people in this view of eternity, people improve as people at all. So like the messiness of humanity transformed onto a picturesque spot is a hellscape.
Because you still have jealousy and strife and
all
conflict.
there.
Like
it's
that's
all there.
Right. Which is very
it's all
different
there, but then it is, and I think, I can't tell if the movie is supposed to make you feel like this is a pretty bleak view of eternity. I think so, because the way that these different eternities pitch themselves to the main characters is like a Comic-Con booth.
It's a conference center. It's an expo hall.
Center. It's an expo
hall of eternities, which is hilarious.
It is hilarious. It would be terrifying in real life to be like people pitching this. So, back to my thoughts. If you're going to pick an eternity, you should stay in the holding pattern as long as you possibly can.
Yes, that's
like
correct.
If it means that you have to mop the halls for 50 years, you need to scope out every single eternity, try to find out the monkey paw situation, find the locations going on. Okay, and the next thing is you need to pick a world that is the most bland, least specific. So that is my, like, if anything is like specifically like mall or library or sunset or surf or beach or spy, like everything. Someone said this on a Reddit post somewhere. They said, all of these places I would be tired of by the end of a weekend vacation.
Absolutely.
Let alone a year, 1,000 years, a million years, a bajillion years.
And one of the rules in the movie is that if you are to try to attempt and escape your eternity through a red door that you might find, you will get arrested and thrown into the void, which is supposedly nothingness for all eternity.
Right. Not even obliteration. Not even
obliteration, which would be better. Which would be better.
Yep.
But
you have to float in the inky blackness forever.
There's a couple times we see the cops like dragging someone away.
The TVA.
The TVA. And apparently one of them in this Reddit thread, it says like museum world is so boring. And they talk about how some eternities were shut down because of lack of interest or whatever. Or like you can't go there anymore. I mean, I love museums, but I would not choose museum world. I would not choose any world where it's just one thing. That's the problem.
Right. You have to go with like something super. I think the things that like really stand out to me would be something like rural world, or like Paris. Like something that's like, okay, as big as it can possibly be. If you're looking for an open world map.
Right.
An MMO of an eternity. It needs to be as vast and varied as possible.
I mean, and supposedly, so as the main character, Elizabeth Olsen, she first goes to Mountain World with her first husband, who died tragically. And, you know, there's the question that anyone would think, even in real life, if a spouse dies suddenly very early, what would their life have looked like?
Sure.
They didn't know what living a life together would be like because they were only married for a year and he went off to war. So she goes to Mountain World with him, and they appear to have a frolickingly good time because it's almost like young love again.
Yep.
It's as if they just met again, or they were just married.
Stream.
Honeymoon period.
Yep.
And it seems like even in Mountain World, while mountains are a major feature, they can still do things like hot air balloon stuff. They get to live in a cabin, just the two of them. You know, it's not like you have to do mountain stuff all the time.
Again, bleak. It's like 400 people in this world.
Yes.
There is oh my goodness.
I just can't even. But
eternity feels suffocating in this movie.
Well, except, so here, we'll get to the ending in a moment. But as she is in Mountain World with her first husband, Luke, he is very adventurous.
Yep.
Maybe not something she would have known in real life because they were only married for a very short time. But he's wanting to hike and do the hot air balloons and do skiing and do all this stuff. And after some time, we're not really sure when, maybe a week.
That's going to be fun for about 100 years.
Not even, apparently.
Not even. Right.
She decides it's not for her. She can't do it. And she even says this line of like, if I have to meet one more new family, I'm going to lose it. Because he is very gregarious and outgoing and wants to meet everybody. She can't do it. Even though she chose him initially, it was too much. And
I do feel like you owe it to the person that you choose to spend eternity with to give it a few years.
At least, like not, but they only gave her a week or whatever.
Give it 1,000 years, just to.
Yeah. And so she also spent a week with her 65-year husband, Miles Teller, and they went to Beachland, which she didn't enjoy very much. But there's this one scene where they're like laying in a boat and they're reminiscing about his funeral, which he wasn't there for.
Right.
But she's talking about their kids and how they reacted or whatever. And in that one moment, you immediately see where this is going. Because they could talk about the 65 years of life they spent together for all eternity. And they have all those shared experiences and their kids or whatever. That's not something she has with her first husband, Luke.
But wouldn't those 65 years after spending 10,000 years making new memories in your eternity, wouldn't those
But here's the thing.
eventually fade? Or is it saying that, like, hey, no, that's the important thing is we made a life together?
It seems to imply, like, you can't have kids in eternity.
Now, this is a hold on moment for me. They brushed past the fact that, like, we recommend you just go do you.
Yes.
Don't wait around for your family. And I'm like, now hold up.
But Nate, okay, so imagine, listener.
Because they said, do you really want to spend eternity with your parents? And I was like, well, they just brushed by that. Like, do you want to spend eternity without your parents? That should be the flip side.
But think how complicated you have parents and grandparents, multiple kids. Mm-hmm. First of all, somebody has to wait around to, like, pass the message down as to what eternity everybody's going to. Like, how many generations are going to go back?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then also you have 5 kids, or let's say, or more.
Yeah.
And they want to go to different eternities. Or maybe there's blended families.
Yeah.
That is a tough circle to square, my friend.
But, I mean, it's worth waiting around. All you got to wait around for is no more than 100 years.
Well, what if there's just more conflict? Like this movie situation where everyone just fights over where to go.
Yeah.
So you're saying would wait. You would wait.
I would wait I would wait. I would encourage anyone else who I met along the way to wait. Like, let's just
hang.
I'll live on the cruise ship for 100 years. And then from there, because here's the thing. Here's my big overarching take. The place that you go is not nearly as important as the people you're with. And the idea that I could, over the course of 100 years, actually meet people, decide who I wanted to be friends with in eternity, even if they're not family, gather together a cohort. See, I'm thinking about overthrowing the eternity system here.
I see.
Then we all go together to a world, because there is a sort of meet people you're going to be stuck with together for the first time, and you have no idea who picked that world before you. And there's like 400 people in each of these eternities. That is not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people.
So I think the idea of using the pool of people in the train station and trying to create a wait around for your kids, they can choose something else if they want at the end of it. But, like, wouldn't you want to at least have someone wait for you to give you the opportunity to go where they went?
Yes. And as long as everybody gets their own houses, you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as everybody gets to spread out.
It sounds like you could spread out.
Sounds like you can. So
which eternity do you pick, Stephen?
Here's the thing.
And are you waiting around?
I'll wait around for a while for sure. I'll live in the hole and just wait around for my kids, maybe grandkids, see what everybody wants to do, whatever. Let's see what's happening.
I like the idea that there would be a cutoff point there. Like, listen, I know that you want to wait for your kid. I never met that kid.
I mean, how long? I mean, because that's the other thing too. Like, let's say my kids and their kids are there, but my great grandkids aren't.
Right.
And my kids are like, we're going. Like, we're just gonna head over here.
Yeah, but if your grandkids or kids chose to wait around for their kids or grandkids, then they would still at least know what one to go to eventually.
Yeah, it's true.
Because you've had a conversation.
Right. But someone always has to stay back, like, depending on how far down the chain you go.
There's got to be one bartender who stays around.
Why this is not the good place.
No. This is all a very bad version of eternity.
And one of the reasons why I would almost like the holding place better is, as with life, you feel most fulfilled when you're doing something.
Yes. Quality work, a purpose. And to go to these eternities where all you do is, like, try to relax or have fun, and that's it. And there's not really the life stuff of raising a family, work, anything. Like, that just seems, it's not the good place. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. It's not the good place. So, spoiler, at the end, the two characters who
go off into an eternity together seems to imply that they enter just like a normal life eternity, where it's just like a simple everyday life, suburban.
Yes, she ends up leaving the first love, just leaves him in the lurch.
Okay, but
in Mountain
actually,
World.
wait, pause, because I have to get to this question. Okay, Miles Teller, her husband of 65 years, tells Elizabeth Olsen as she's about to go on a train to Paris and leave both of them.
Right. She chooses neither, which I was like,
never had
well
your
done.
long.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, but he said, right, yeah, that seemed like, okay, maybe that's the best. Miles Teller tells her, we look here in eternity as though when we were the most happy, and you never had your hair long when we were together.
Yeah. Best
your
part
hair
of the
is
movie.
long right now.
Correct.
That means you are happiest with your first husband. You should go with him. Kudos to Larry. Okay.
Great.
But also, when she goes with her first husband and then can't stand it and risks the void to leave that eternity, she obviously is not the most happy. So, Nate, I feel like this is a paradox. Was she the most happy with her first husband in real life? But if not, like, if
she was the most happy with her first husband. It was young love. It was wonderful.
But does that mean 65 years of happiness is not the happiest?
What she learns is it's not about being happy. Right. That was part of the whole thing of is that it's not about being happy. It's about this commitment we have to each other. We know each other best. And that she chose maybe the non-happy mundane over chasing that happiness.
So the movie literally tells us in plain language that just because you're the happiest with one person doesn't mean you should stay with them. Isn't that what it's saying?
So. I think so. A lot of movies kind of go into that soulmate camp. And this one, I can't tell. It kind of flirts with the concept of soulmate because in some ways we are to see Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen as like they grew old together, they made a life together, and that made them like comfortable and kind of soulmate-ish, but definitely that first husband is like the, what do they call it? Like hot sparks and fire.
It's the young love. It's but I just crashed out because it's like, if it is true, like if you take the premise as true, like you look as when you were the happiest, Larry, he looks at the age right after the birth of their second child, he says. Right.
Who he is abandoning for eternity.
You mean by going to eternity?
Yeah, let it be known.
Fair enough. But it's just wild to me, that premise. And it just makes you think like real life. Is that real life? Can it be the same really person?
And it also puts a ton of, poor Joan in this movie. It's a miserable situation she is in the whole time. This is why I'm like, oh, this is Joan's personal hell. Like this is terrible for her. She has to pick between these two husbands. I'll tell you this, and I don't know how this will be received, but I'll say it quiet. If you were married person during your life, and this is the exact eternity situation, I think you should all go to the same eternity. I think as long as you have a big enough world, I think you could be with one for like 1,000 years at a time and switch on over. They don't have to see each other. I think that is the most, I know that's the Solomon baby cutting the baby.
Yeah, that's literally,
but
it's literally a parable.
It doesn't, like, jealousy and time with another person only makes sense in a finite world. And I believe that once you hit the infinite,
I don't know, man.
Well, I guess you're right. Everyone stays the same. So, again, these humans, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, this version of eternity would be terrible.
It would be terrible.
No matter who you're with, no matter if you're with the love of your life.
What was ironic is the two husbands actually end up getting along by the end and realize maybe they like each other.
Maybe they should have gone to the same eternity, been buds.
There's still a question of like, those 1,000 years when your wife was with the other guy.
Well, you're fine. I bet you're finding another spouse in the eternity too.
No.
Anyway, depends what world you're going to.
I don't know if I ever answered the question, which you need to answer too. I would choose that simple eternity. the suburban regular house. Like, let me just keep doing life and just do that. And it's just a little nicer. What about you?
Okay.
Would you hold on. Now I'm going to choose one for you.
Oh, yeah. I have
We
one.
should choose one for each other. But you go ahead. What's yours?
I'm choosing.
Yes.
I think I'm choosing Irish countryside.
Irish countryside.
Or Mennonite world, because I grew up Mennonite.
You would not choose
Here's
Mennonite
why.
world. Don't even lie.
Here's why.
Don't lie.
Here's why. I need to have some level of work and hard work. And I'm choosing broad, and I'm choosing a little bit of difficulty, because there's something about if you're living in suburbia with everything just supplied to you, like, what are you gonna do? Like,
I would make jobs for myself.
At least in a rural thing, at least you could be like, every day I got to churn this butter or something. Every day I got to like feed the sheep
for eternity. Everything taken to the eternity degree.
None of it's good. See, none of it's good.
None of it's good.
It's the best of the worst situation. Either that or like Dragon Quest / like Wizard World.
Wizard World sounds pretty fun. I'm not gonna
like.
lie,
All right, if I can get magical powers and fly around or ride on a dragon, and I'm not worried about I can't tell in this movie whether you can die and get hurt in eternity.
It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it.
Then I guess something with some excitement. I guess some adventure.
Paris Land seems like it would be okay. At least you got stuff to do.
You need purpose, adventure, some form of meaning, and so it can't just be something relaxing. You have to be doing something, building something. I don't know.
I will.
I'll choose Casino World for you. Enjoy a windowless slot machine.
That is terrible. I would not send my worst enemy to that. I feel like with Paris World, maybe if I get a job in a cafe and like make some espresso for people.
Oh, there we go.
That'd be all right, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, Anyway, for you, Nate. so you're going to send me to Casino World?
Mm-hmm.
I will send you. There's so many here that I want to say, but I don't know where it's going to be appropriate. I'm going to send you to Clown World.
The worst.
I don't even know.
Worst.
I don't even know what's there, but it would be terrible. It would be terrifying. So she risks the void, which she also goes into this archive thing where she keeps watching memories of her life with her second husband.
That was a fun concept of this movie. I liked the idea of watching little bits of your life.
It was interesting, but also the guy at one point was like, "Hey, listen, lady, this is a bad idea. You don't want to keep watching this. Wazowski." You know what I mean? Like he was, and I totally get it, because like if she chose to be with her first husband and keeps watching memories of her second husband, that's not going to be a good formula.
And it wasn't. She lasted like a week. And
it was not. To the first husband's credit, he helps her escape with his acting skills, which weren't great.
He does.
He does. She escapes through the red door, starts being chased by police, finds Larry as the bartender in the holding place. He did not choose an eternity without her. And they eventually escape and go to that suburban world or whatever. Did she make the right decision, Nate?
I mean, I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess. Like, if you liked the way your life was, having something as similar to the way your life was is probably best. I think I don't love how it was just in a week with her old husband / new eternity husband that she was like, actually, like, I would rather she have waited around longer and to try to figure it out herself. Sure. I liked his self-sacrifice of saying, go with the other guy. I think that is going back to the wisdom of Solomon. I think that whoever tells you to go with the other guy should be the person you go with. It's a little selfless, like showing the selfless act.
Good. That's like one of those.
I'd rather you be happy with the other guy than to be with me for eternity. That's probably the one you should be with.
A little bit like Confucius says, whichever one says
not at all.
Go with the other, go with that one.
Yeah, something it like is something like that. I think if you find yourself in this situation, the answer is stay in the holding pattern. And I'm not even saying I don't think you should ever choose eternity. I think being the bartender, helping people who recently died, try to navigate the afterlife feels like a purpose. It feels like a thing that you should be doing. It sounds like each of them has like a little I don't know, concierge helper.
Yeah.
In this afterlife.
Yes.
And they found love and found each other there. So like, live your life in the expo hall.
Okay.
Beats choosing.
That choosing stuff.
Stephen, I didn't enjoy this movie.
Really?
I liked the conversation. I like this conversation. I like talking about it.
Sure.
I really wanted something different for the ending. I really didn't want them just walking into suburbia.
What would have been better?
Exposing the TVA behind it and how this was all just the Good Place level torture for people, or discovering that maybe I thought that the different eternities were like the different purgatories, and then from there that maybe was going to be like a sorting element. I wanted something more, or I wanted something less than just pick one of these two guys and now you're happily ever after, because I just kept feeling the sinking feeling of this happily ever after is an illusion, is a bad idea. Also, you should wait for your kids. Hot take.
Yes.
Wait for your kids.
No. I would 100% wait for my kids. I would feel like I would not force them to go to the eternity I wanted. But if they're also going to clown land, I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait for your kids. Wait for your spouse. I think the idea of just you do you. They bring these eternities like you're showing up to summer camp and you're meeting new people, and that level of I'm a relatively leaning towards extroversion. Yeah, even that sounds like a rough way to. What if everyone's coupled up, and then it's you?
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
I think this movie...
I prefer an eternity with some sort of powerful deity controlling things, and not a bureaucratic expo hall nightmare.
If this movie does anything, it really makes you feel like the permanence of anything is really daunting. Like, permanence is tough. And
it requires a changing of everything that we are and want and desire. And I think if you just plucked a human and put them as is into eternity with their current ambitions and squabbles and greed and whatever, it doesn't seem like a great recipe. So that's what this movie taught me.
And it also showed that anyone who thought being immortal would be a good thing, they're all megalomaniacs. How do you say that word?
No, say it again. One more time. Third time.
They're all megalomaniacs. To think you want to live forever? No. You know what I mean? Yep. Like in this world with these problems? Nah.
None of that. Were you happy with her decision?
Yeah, I think she made the right decision. There's so many problems and issues, but I think it was. If we didn't make this clear, she chose to be with Larry, her second husband of 65 years, forever in simple suburban land or whatever.
And the other guy got to live in mountain land.
He's going to be hot air ballooning for eternity, meeting new people all the time. He's fine.
He's great.
He's great. If you had to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 5 pamphlets for eternity, like an expo hall. Mm-hmm. How many pamphlets would you give this movie, Nate?
I give Eternity let me say one thing.
Wait. Oh, what'd you say? What'd you say?
You didn't hear me. No, you can ask me now. You didn't hear me. It's not spoiled.
I just want to challenge you that I think your feeling of placing yourself in this movie's scenario is giving you more consternation than whether this movie is good or not.
Yeah. Okay. Great. No, let me think about it. 2. So...
Okay.
Here's why. It's not because I'm fine with a sort of dystopian eternity setup. I don't mind all of that, and I don't mind a bleak eternity. Sure. What I do mind is a movie that tries to present a bleak eternity setup with a heartfelt love story on top. It left me feeling not satisfied.
Did you believe Romance Corner? We never got to Romance Corner, but did you think there was a Romance Corner to be had?
I didn't think there was much Romance Corner with either of them. I would have loved to see like Notebook level Rachel McAdams, Ryan Gosling with the first husband to make me feel a little bit more tension. They showed those little like cabin scenes, and I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't see it.
Nate, I would argue that this might be the most authentic romance corner to real life as I've seen in a movie.
Well, yes, because I do believe that Miles Teller is an old man trapped in Miles Teller's body, and that Elizabeth Olsen plays a great old lady who has now looks like Elizabeth Olsen.
Yep.
And I believe that they know each other and are bothered by each other and bicker with each other like an old married couple. So, is that romance or is that love? Maybe romance corner is not the right term. Maybe it's just committed love.
Man, that's deep.
Corner.
That's deep, Nate.
Anyway, I give this one a 2 because I was
Sure.
hoping for something different at the end of it. And then just two people walking into the sunset of suburbia was like, if you want me to feel hopeful about this and like great about it, I don't. If you want me to feel bothered, I do. But I don't know what you want me to feel. And so I felt like director's intent, creator's intent was not clear to me.
Okay.
Maybe it wasn't supposed to be. In that case, I give it a 3.
I appreciated this movie like posing so many questions without giving clear answers because it provides you to spiral and have existential dread, which I did.
Yes.
And so that being the case, I will give it 3 pamphlets. I laughed several times in this movie. The premise I feel like is original, interesting.
It's a great premise.
Raised lots of questions. Made me contemplate all these different eternities that are frankly terrifying. Sitcom world? Who would go to sitcom world? Valhalla sounds interesting.
To your life.
Valhalla?
Steven?
Yes.
I know what this movie is. This is a book club book. This movie is a book club book.
That's right. I agree.
Put this, and this is our book club that we're in currently.
That's exactly right. Books on the side.
But if you have a group of friends, and you all want to watch this movie, you don't even have to watch it at the same time. Meet up, have some pulled pork, meet up for dinner, sit around a living room and talk about this movie. Yes. Love the discussion. It is a book club book. Book club books don't have to be great books. They just have to be good conversation starters. And that's what this movie is. And that's why I wanted you to watch it and why I wanted to do it for this podcast.
I'm glad we got to do it. Booksontheside.com. Already taken, unfortunately, so I couldn't buy the domain. Bots. Anyway, we're going to watch another one and do another episode soon. All right. Thanks for recording.